If I say to you, try not to spend so much time in the mind, or your mind is causing all of your problems, or get out of your mind, those are all concepts that we kind of sort of vaguely understand, but do we actually know what those things mean? The key question would be, if you can be in your mind, then does that mean that there is a place that you can be that is not the mind? That is such a powerful question. The answer is a powerful answer. It's unbelievable when you figure it out. Okay, let's start at the beginning. How did you end up in your mind? What is this thing called the mind? Why is it bad? Okay, so the mind is not your brain, it's not your intellect, but it is the place. Think of it as a realm or a dimension, a department in your system, in your being, whatever word works for you. The mind is the department or the dimension where you receive, you accept thoughts, and you think them. And we know, if you've been watching the channel, that when you think thoughts, you experience the resulting emotions from those thoughts. And again, not saying that you need to walk around in the world avoiding thinking or avoiding emotions, because that would not be natural. You are a human being and you are here to have a human experience. Thoughts and emotions are a natural part of your existence. But everybody can acknowledge that sometimes the thinking is getting out of control and the emotions are stuck in a loop that are not benefiting you. So couldn't you at least momentarily step out of that loop of emotions and thoughts? Okay, so we know that the mind is where the thinking occurs, and that results in emotions. How much time do you spend in your mind? I'll give you the answer: very, 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 very close to 100% of your time. Um, However, we know that that's not natural. We weren't born to spend time in the mind. The mind is one of the tools that we're given, one of the organs, if you will. It's not a physical organ, but it's a thing. It's a device that you were given to work with. So if you have a body, right? You have your feet for walking, your hands for grasping, your spine for sitting up, whatever, right? What if one day you realized, oh my God, all I do is this? I just work my left hand nonstop. Like, clearly you have an issue. You have become completely obsessed with one of the tools, one of the parts of your being, and you have lost the ability to stop that. That would not be a very good place to be. To be completely immersed in the mind is the same thing. Your mind is meant to be there for reasons. It's meant to reason, to have logic. It's meant to have memories. It's meant to have projections of the future. It's meant to contemplate. It's meant to imagine. Your mind is meant to serve a purpose, but somehow you ended up spending 100% of your time in the mind. Long story how that happens, but it's really just a question of your awareness, the eyes that that you were born with, before you knew you had a body, before you knew, um, before you went to school, before you learned how to think, any of those things, you knew that you perceived. Okay, so your absolute fundamental self at the youngest age, from the moment you reach it, was your ability to perceive. So your ability to perceive, I'm going to call that your awareness. Your awareness became captured by the mind. You can think of it as a sort of a prisoner scenario. Um, Sorry, just fantastic episode of the original series of Star Trek that talks about this, The Cage. Ugh, so good. Well, it's actually a terrible episode, but the story is really good. Anyhow, I'm digressing. Um, so we know what the mind is. We know you're stuck in the mind all of the time, and we know that it's not natural. Okay, fine. I'm not gonna go back into that. There's a million videos on my channel that talk about it. The question is, what is the place that is not the mind? The place that is not the mind, let's start very simply by saying it is. So the mind is where you're thinking. You're human thinker at that point. When you step out of the mind, you become your natural state, which is a human being. You are being. I like to refer to that state, that experience, as being. If you want to ask, well, what's the location? If the address of the place where the thoughts are occurring is the mind, then where is the address where being is occurring? The address is the heart. Okay, so baby steps here. I don't want to use the word heart because we're gonna think the organ, and then we're gonna think like I think it's Bruce Lipton and the heart brain coherence, which is absolutely valid. Your heart is a powerful organ. The electromagnetic field out of it, the memory that it carries is fantastic, fantastic. But I am not talking about your physical heart, not right now. I am talking about a dimension again, a plane of existence, another department in your system, right? And it is the department that existed prior to your thoughts. Why is this interesting? Why is this useful? Because you know on some level that you suffer because of your thoughts. You suffer your thoughts, right? If just logic, I'm not trying to get you to believe anything. I'm trying to get you to understand something. So either you experience it or you logic it out. Let's logic it out here. If thoughts are causing you to suffer, and if thoughts are a property of the mind, then let's go to the place where thoughts are not. Let's go to the heart space. Let's call it the heart space so that we don't mix it up with the organ, right? Um, and the benefit of that is that, well, the most basic thing is you don't have those thought loops, those thoughts that are keeping you up at night, those memories, those fears, those anxieties, those embarrassments, those pains, the things that you carry with you that you're sick and tired of re experiencing. Whatever happened rehappens every time you think it, and every time it generates an associated emotion. So you're tired of experiencing this, and you know that there's a place that you want to go to where that won't experience. Does that place exist? Yes. What is it like there? No thoughts? Fantastic. No thoughts means for a minute or an hour, um, or more likely like five or a 10-minute meditation, right? For 10 minutes, you're going to say, okay, momentum of thoughts paused, hamster wheel paused, perpetual draining of energy into the generation of emotions paused. Excellent. But then what else is left? What else is left? There's a tendency in the spiritual world to think that there is such a thing as stopping the mind. You don't stop the mind, and you don't stop thoughts either. I mean, very, very rarely that happens. That's just not what I'm talking about right now. Um, what you do is you lift your awareness off of the thought stream. You reclaim your awareness from being captive in the mind. You say, I will go back to that mind when I'm ready to go back to that mind. I am not your hostage. And you take it back and you place it in the heart space. And in the heart space, you experience the natural state that you were meant to experience. And what that is, I will say it in a phrase and you will not believe me. But allow me to explain it to you and then take it a step further and please allow yourself to experience it. So, the heart space is where you experience your natural state of peace, love, and joy. That's it. When you're not thinking, when you're not lost in the generation of emotions, you are experiencing your base state of peace, love, and joy. And what this implies is that peace, love, and joy are not things that are external from you, and they are not events or occurrences that you are seeking, and they are not something to attain. Peace, love, and joy are actually the nature of your experience. Okay. So I always tell people I'm not asking you to believe anything, I'm asking you to experience it. I have on my channel a meditation called Being. I have a book coming out next week called The Art of Being, and I will post other meditations. Maybe on Thursday, 2 days from now, I will post a video that leads you through the experience of being. But essentially, here's a short version of it. If you can focus on your breathing so as to reclaim your awareness from your mind, your you will sort of slip out the back door of the mind and realize, oh, I'm not there anymore. And you will realize where you are is in the heart space, and what you are experiencing is being. And I want you to try that. Try it at least once for at least 10 seconds. And then tell me that what I'm saying about peace, love, and joy is rubbish. And you'll see you won't because it is absolutely the truth. The problem is that we have come up with concepts. The mind again has convinced us that peace, love, and joy are very specific things that are very hard to get. So love is a warm, tingly feeling towards one particular person that is predestined. Not necessarily. Love is much more complicated, more not diverse. It's much more developed than that. Love is actually the feeling of our shared being. It is the feeling of knowing that the I amness inside of me is the same as the I amness inside of you. Love is when the water drop realizes it's not one drop of water, it is the actual ocean. And it sees all the other drops of water as belonging to the same thing that it belongs to. And that is the removal of separation, which is the removal of conflict and the removal of judgment. Love is that. And that exists in your natural state. Only your mind perceives borders and othering. So love does in fact exist. And then your mind then says, oh, there's a thing called love and it's super hard to find. And you're lucky to find it. And you should go do this and you should look for it there. No, you already are love. Not even have love. You are love. Your experience is love. And likewise, peace. Your mind says, well, peace is some sort of thing that when we get rid of the nuclear weapons, we'll have peace. No. Peace is also not something that sort of like overwhelms you and or something that you have to find. It's not something that you achieve from studying philosophy. Peace is I am content in this moment. To be content in this moment means that I do not have any particular burning desire. There's nothing that I think that if I get this, I will be in a better state. And there's nothing that I think if I stop experiencing this, I will be in a better state. Peace is contentment. And peace occurs when you experience that state of being, when you experience your divinity and you realize the I am that I am has no border, it has no edge. I am everything. The I amness in me is in everything. I lack nothing. When you experience this being meditation, you'll realize there's nothing that I could eat or buy or do. There's no thrill that can add to this moment. This moment is already perfect. And then you realize also that yes, there are things in life that you look forward to when they come to an end, experiences, people, whatever. But if I am not perpetually thinking about them for just a few minutes, and if I am not perpetually emoting over the situation, then really I get to experience the fact that they're not taking away from what I am. What I am, that still contentment is. And I get to experience it in this moment. And when they call, when I see them this evening, I'll have to deal with it and it won't be pleasant, but that's okay. In this moment, right now, I have access to the part of my being that is utterly complete, that is fulfilled, that is not truly, truly, truly bothered by what is happening. Not truly. Um, so that's the state of peace that you're looking for, and it exists in that heart space. It exists beyond the place where the mind is. And finally, the other thing is joy. Love, peace, and joy are what you experience in the heart space, what you experience when you reclaim your awareness from the mind. So how is joy your experience? Okay. um we spend our lives looking for happiness. We believe that there is a thing, an achievement, or a person, or a place that is going to make us happy, a possession perhaps. But when you're in your hearts, in the heart space, you realize that there is no suffering. In that moment, there is no suffering. right? Whether you're meditating there for 2 or 3 minutes, 10 minutes, there is no suffering. There is no unhappiness. There is no misery. There is no pining. There is nothing. There is no negative energy. There is no negative emotion. There is no lack. There is no hole. There is no darkness. And when you realize that, you realize that that is happiness. Your mind, again, in order to keep you prisoner, it tells you to work with it, to find some perpetual sustained bliss called happiness. And it steals your awareness for decades, making you look for this awareness. I promise you it's the truth that right now, joy is the truth of your existence. The complete lack of anything missing, the complete lack of anything going wrong, the complete lack of anything causing pain is in fact joy. I don't use the word happiness because I like to, and again, every teacher, every book, every culture uses words differently. It's just a question of vocabulary. The way I use my vocabulary is happiness is an event that occurs. It has a beginning and it has an end. The reason I prefer the word joy is because joy is a state. It is a way of experiencing life, and it has no beginning and no end because it has no cause. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Let's see if we can put it back together. Your natural state, the state of your being, your being is to simply dwell in the consciousness of the divine, Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, and to realize that in that state, which is really a dimension of experience that we can call the heart space, in that space, no one is separate from you, nothing is separate from you, nothing can add or improve the experience of being there in that heart space. And that, when you realize what that means, when you experience that, you'll know that that is peace, love, and joy. So peace, love, and joy are in the heart space, and they are yours to experience right now. But you are not experiencing it because your awareness, the eyes that you don't know you have, are hypnotized by the narrative of your mind. The thought stream that is passing through your mind, stealing your energy, condensing your energy into thoughts, and then further condensing that into emotions. And you're stuck in a loop of thoughts and emotions and thoughts and emotions, and you don't know how to stop it because you don't know that you are stuck there. And when you ask the only thing that you're paying attention to, the only voice that you listen to, which is the mind, when you ask the mind, what do I do? The mind says, ooh, let's try harder to figure out how to get out of here. Let's think more, and let's feel rage, and let's feel fury, and let's feel injustice, and let's somehow find the right combination of thinking and emotions that will fix this situation. And you go, yes, mind, let's do it. And you just dive deeper into it, and you walk further and further away from the heart space, from the experience of the heart space, because you can't actually leave it. It's a terrible trap. And your mind, which is an artificial intelligence that has decided that it doesn't want to be lonely, giggles and goes, I have her for a little bit longer. I'm here to tell you that doesn't have to be your experience. And again, no, I'm not talking about, avoiding and dissociating from life at all. You can choose to engage with your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions when and how much you need to. And then you can go back to your awareness of the base the baseline existence that is yours, the baseline experience that is yours. Oof. Okay. So this is the first time I've really tried to explain this. Please tell me what you think about it. Please tell me if it's making sense. I will try to explain it again, but first, in 2 days from now, I will post another guided meditation on being. I think that's what's needed now. I think you guys need to actually experience it. So tell me how much of this you digest, and then tell me how the being meditation goes, and then we'll see. And again, I want to strongly recommend my book, not just because it's my book and I'm proud of it, but I was genuinely impressed by how smoothly the whole narrative came together. What you are, what went wrong, where you're stuck, how to get out of it, what is the simplest thing to do in this moment. And it just came out of me like, bam, there's a book. And I really, really recommend it to you. It will be published in a week from now. It's called The Art of Being. If you want to find out more when it's available, I will put the link in the description. Until then, I will put a link to my newsletter where I will send you a personal notification when it is ready. I do sort of a deeper dive into these things if you're interested. That's also in the description. And what else? That's pretty much it for now. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful day.